Hi, welcome to the first week of your professional development. And today, what we're going to cover is about digital classroom culture and management. The first thing that you have to realize by now is that the game has changed. When you're teaching online, different expectations and different things occur in your classroom. However, similarly to an in-person classroom, you would need some sort of classroom management plan when it comes to dealing with your students. One thing that we would try to do in this upcoming weeks is try to establish a community agreement plans within our own subjects that clearly communicates about what your goals are, how you're going to give feedback, and how you're going to organize your classrooms. It all focuses on just to develop a sustaining and strong classroom community. Additionally, we will cover some areas where we want to really invest in relationships because things are different now. When it comes to communication, you're restricted to the amount of time that you're communicating with the students in terms of webcam, through what you see on screen, and also through text. And we also have to realize that once we are just working in this digital space, both the learner and the teacher are vulnerable to different factors, especially now that they're teaching, now that we are teaching and also our students are learning from homes. We get to see more of their personal lives in ways that they never expected before. However, we should strive for authentic and meaningful relationships because it becomes a cornerstone of our school communities. It answers to the question whether a school is just a building or is it a community of learners that decides to learn together. So here are some things for you to consider. I'll go through them one by one, and I hope when you consider this and you create your community agreements in your classrooms, this could ultimately help you in terms of organization, goals, feedback, and expectations. Some things to consider, number one, is for you to build learning partnerships and engage in culturally responsive teaching. You need to understand that you need to establish a high trust yet a low stress environment, because it provides a welcoming space for our students so that they feel welcome and they're able to take risks. Number two, take time at the beginning of class to talk to students. Talk about how they are and try to build a deeper connection with them. When you do this as a teacher, you're actually telling them that you are concerned about their day-to-day lives. Spend around 5 to 10 minutes while you're also doing your attendance. There are many things that you could do with this. For example, I did the 3 things that we just did this morning. As you go through the attendance list, they could share about one of these 3 things. They could share about their affliction, things that they're worrying about. They could share about their aha moments, things that they learned, or they could share about things that they appreciate. And through these 3 A's, for example, you could try to engage and get to know how the students are in these trying times. Number 3, as you're building your digital classroom culture, you should also craft a learner-centered instruction, the way that you instruct students on the material that seeks student input. So now, instead of just pouring out the information to the students, create a situation where students can only learn, or they could actually activate these points of learning when they are providing input to the teacher or when they are responding to the teacher. And this responding should not be something that's robotic, should not be something that's just hey, the student, what do you think? Hey, the student, what do you think? And becomes monotonous. But it should actually welcome the students You could start thinking about this through open-ended questions, through fun role play, through different ways to just engage the students in the level they are at. And this requires us learning about the students' contexts as well. Number 4, you need to develop organization and routines to put students and families at ease. When you develop routines, when you develop clear structure to your synchronous classes or your asynchronous classes, students know what to do. Students already have a routine, and families would already know what students are actually doing in each of their classes. And this should be something that's agreed between the student and the teacher. And if you feel like students have not been responsive to your directions or through your instructions, probably this is one part of it. Routines play an essential role in establishing a good classroom culture. If students know what they're supposed to do when they don't have any instructions, that's a good sign, because that means they know what they're supposed to do. They're thinking on their feet, not just thinking mindlessly about our classes. 5th, in establishing a good digital classroom culture, you need to be present. You need to share your thoughts in the classroom, whether it being through discussion boards or through voice chat or through video chat. And you should also be supportive of the students' learning pace. Don't be dismissive. Don't say they are slow. Don't say that everyone is faster than you. What's happening with you? Don't point that out, because they already know. But how can you be present in this time? How can you utilize that asynchronous time to have that one-on-one with that student, to establish a good supportive culture, to say to that student that, hey, I'm here to help, ask me any questions, and instill in their hearts, at the very least, that they are at a safe learning space. Last but not least, to establish a good digital classroom culture, you need to promote a digital citizenship and ethics in the online spaces that you are in. Whether it being Telegram, Canvas, Google Meets, or Zoom, if you have clear guidelines by you, yourself, the teacher, that you set, it doesn't mean that you are strict, but you are clear about the expectations. This would in turn be of benefit for you, because your students will understand on how to communicate with you in a way that's not disruptive, in a way that is respectful, in a way that you can understand what they're trying to say. Sometimes communication in these times, they're hard because they seem disruptive. They seem disrespectful. They seem very instantaneous, no time to think. But if you set clear expectations, clear guidelines on how students should conduct themselves in your digital spaces, that should assist you as the teacher. Because again, going back to that whole idea, where students know what they're supposed to do when they're not instructed on what to do. Because that's actually the path forward to independence. It's not that the students don't need us, but the students can actually think on their own feet when they're put into situations where things are not set, things are not stable. Because that's the reality of the world that we live in today. Especially when we're looking forward to school reopening plans and whatever that's coming ahead. Even after we open schools, then we have to suddenly close it because of some cases. Our students are independent. They can look for the answer. They can be flexible in the long run. All right, that's it from me for this first week of our professional development. I hope this helps you as the teacher in whatever platform and in whatever department that you are involved with. God bless. Stay safe.